Alright, so today we're gonna be casting some Primeval Titans, but we're gonna be doing so in a slightly different way. So, what we have right here is what I like calling Bloom Titan. It's actually called Amulet Bloom here because, well, I want to have all my Amulet lists all together, but still, uh, if you guys don't know where this comes from, this is a card that is actually banned in Modern. It's called Summer Bloom. And the reason that this card is banned is because this card was played in this deck and it was absolutely broken. It quickly turned into the. I mean, it quickly did not really. The deck had been around for years, and I mean like 3+ years, where people were not taking this deck seriously, even though it was like in Magic Online, people were playing it and whatever. But it was not really taken seriously, and the reason for that was that the early builds were not so optimized really. But as people started to play around with it and they started figuring out the actual potential that the deck had, people started refining the list, and it ended up being the best deck in Modern by a long shot. It was when this deck was legal, and when I started playing it, I think my win percentage with it was like above 85% or something. That was like, it was not okay. It was not okay. I was basically every FNM that I went to, I 3-1 or better, and I didn't play many tournaments back then. I still don't really, but I would like win dailies. Probably like every 2 dailies that I played, I would win, and then every somewhat large tournament that I played, I just top 8'd. The deck was basically absurd. It was just not okay for the format. So the deck was called Bloom Titan because you had your Summer Blooms and you had your Primeval Titans. Basically, if you were able to pretty consistently cast a Primeval Titan on turn 2. And casting a Primeval Titan on turn 2 is just not something that you should be, allowed to do in Modern. Um, Even though we still are able to, sometimes you get like double Amulet and Asusa and Prime Time, but back then it was actually very consistent. You were casting a Primeval Titan by turn 3, like above like 90% of the time. It was stupid consistent. So what we have here is a more combo centric list of the deck, a more combo centric version of the deck. You will see that even on this stream we play this list quite often. What this is a more mid-rangey list. Okay, we have Sakura-Tribe Scout, we have less pacts, or we have more value lands. We have Bojuka Bog, we have Cavern of Souls, we have Ghost Quarter in the main deck. So this is more of a mid-range approach, and we even have like the Walking Ballista in the main deck. And even post sideboard, we can, it's very easy to like side out your amulets against like control decks or jump decks, in order to turn your deck into basically a ramp deck. Here the approach is very different. Basically, Lotus Bloom makes it so it's very very easy and very consistent to find to actually cast a Primeval Titan on turn 4. So basically, what you're doing is you are gaining consistency with Lotus Bloom, but you're missing on potential explosiveness, I guess. So what we have here is we're actually running Serum Vicious. The reason for that is that we want to try to be as basically consistent as possible. We want to smooth out our draws. We want to find our combo pieces, and we want to combo ASAP, basically. Preferably on turn 3, but it's also, it's going to be more consistently on turn 4. In order to accommodate this, we have to not play as many value lands because we need the blue sources for Serum Vicious, and it's extremely important for us to Steerings on turn 1. In fact, if we have Serum Visions, with this deck, it's basically 100% correct all the time to Steerings on turn 1 instead of Serum Visions, because the upside of hitting a Lotus Bloom of an Ancient Steerings and suspending on turn 1 is just so high. It just makes it so you can way more consistently play a Primeval Titan on turn 4. Also, we have Hive Mind. The reason why running Hive Mind is because if you guys read the card, at no point it says may. Okay, it says whenever a player casts an instance or sorcery spell, each other player copies that spell. It's not a may. The reason that we're running this, it's because both with Summoner's Pact and Pact of Negation, if you happen to cast either one of these pacts with a Hive Mind in play, your opponent will be forced to copy that pact. And your opponent might not be playing green or might not be playing blue, which means that they will die on their upkeep because they are not able to pay the upkeep cost. So this is also kind of like a get out of jail free card sometimes. And you know, whenever there's a game that we can't win through, you know, Primeval Titan beats, which is still our main win condition, Hive Mind can bail us out somewhat consistently. Also, you can like drop a Hive Mind with, you know, Pact of Negation backup against control, and then, you know, Summoner gets a Summoner's Pact and kill them on other active. It's really nice. So again, the mana base tries to accommodate all of this, you know, cantripping action that we got going on here, and that's basically what changes. Oh yeah, Temple of Mystery. We have 2 Temple of Mysteries. This card is insane in this deck. This card is really good. Just because Scrying is very close to drawing a card with this deck. Whenever you are like looking for something, you're looking for a specific card. So when you're bottoming something that's not that card, it's very close to just actually drawing a card. So that's about the main deck. The only piece of interaction we have is explosives. But, you know, even if we're playing against humans or something, you know, if they name Primeval Titan, we can still like Hive Mind pack them. So we still have outs, I guess, to Meddling Mage and stuff. But anyway, the sideboard is pretty straightforward. But the way that we're going to sideboard is going to be much different. It's not rare with the other list to side out your amulets. It's not rare to side out your scouts. Here, I think Lotus Bloom doesn't come out in any matchup ever. And, you know, Pond and Wine might... he's way more experienced than I am with this list, so he might have something to say about that. But I think that Lotus Bloom never comes out. And Amulet also kind of never comes out either. We are way more of a combo deck than the other one. Trying to go for the mid-range plan is not really, you know, worth it, and it doesn't quite work as well here. So you will see that, you know, we don't have like Rurik, we don't have those kind of guys because we cannot like help pressure further anyway. And our counter spell is Swan Song instead of Spell Pierce. Because if our opponent drops a card or something, I don't think that we care as much as long as we're able to like untap and, you know, play Hive Mind and, you know, play a Pact. So we're more interested in being able to, you know, hard counter a Cryptic Command or hard counter a Gifts and Giving or something like that. Then we have our sweepers. Coast Select Return. We can also run Fire Spout, but I think that Pond and Wine really values the instant speed of Coast Select Return, which I think it's, you know, also very important. And then the Ballista, we have it on the board. Then we have a couple of answers to artifacts / enchantments. Oh, also Swan Song counters Blood Moon, which is huge, right? We have an extra pact, which we can bring again against humans or something like that, or against non-black decks, probably like Timur or something like that, in order to prevent them from being able to pay for you know, the Hive Mind. And Hornet Queen is 100% stabilization. Is that the word? is entirely a stabilization tool. The idea is that you dropped it and you play it, and it just gains you a couple of turns, and you're able to actually get to your game winners. And okay, the rest of the sideboard should be pretty straightforward, and it will come up as we play the matches. But yes, so this is like a brief introduction to the deck. We're gonna jump into a modern league and try it out. The big difference is going to be how the lists play out, right? It's going to be very different from our regular, scout list. Sequencing. Commander Root, thanks for the follow. You're gonna see that the sequencing might be slightly different than it would be with a scout list, or the things that we're looking for are gonna be slightly different as well. Sideboarding is gonna be very, very different. But yeah, let's see how we do. Let's see how we do. Okay. 87 followers. Very close. Very close to the 100, where I will be forced to buy those show and tells. All right. Okay, so this is kind of like this is a very keepable kind of like we could also be playing the scout list, and we will be keeping this hand. So this is not a good example of the difference. Oh, we're dead. We tried. We tried. we even have options. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna get the Amulet here. The reason for this is I think this gives me the best chance to win. Amulet turns this from a turn 4 Titan into a turn 3 Titan, and also gives me allows me to play Azusa as a champ blocker on my my following turn. Yep. We might be very dead here. I guess Colony Garden would be my best draw. I don't think I even want to show them the Lotus Bloom. This Lotus Bloom is just not going to be relevant this game. I don't know if that changes what they do at all, but just in case. Feels like my opponent's got it. Yep, they have it. Dead. Alright. So without two Infect. Infect is this deck's absolute worst matchup. This list is also quite better against it's also quite better against Blood Moon, but you're kind of I don't even know if I want Ghostlyx Return actually, because like the fact that it just does 2 damage means that my opponent can just like mutagenic growth and wreck me completely. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that this list is way better against Blood Moon because Lotus Bloom gives you green mana even through a Blood Moon, or blue mana, so you can like hive mind people. You can hive mind people even if there's a Blood Moon in play. So you are way better against Blood Moon, but you change that by being, against fast combo like this. I suspect that we're gonna have a really hard time. I have Pandan Wine's list here and his like sideboard notes, but I don't think that he has an Infect. Nope. No Infect, so I'm gonna kind of try to wing it. I honestly have no idea if Hive Mind is good or not. I think that Infect runs Spell Pierces post board. My opponent only showed me green mana, but chances are that they are gonna be playing blue as well. I don't think mono green Infect is a thing. I'm gonna side in Serum Visions because you know we're not really gonna have that much time to be setting up and stuff. Oh, Ghost Quarter is good against Inkmoth, so we probably want that. We can side out one Aether Hub. And I guess I'll side out one Hive Mind. Okay, that's a rough start for us. Yep, I guess we keep this slow, but turn 1 Lotus Bloom. We're gonna have a turn 3 Ballista on 1. At least this means that we are not gonna die on on my next turn, or before my next turn, I guess. Another Noble Hierarch. Release our elf. So here's the question: is my opponent keeping up Spell Pierce here? I think that I don't want to risk it, so I am going to play the Ballista on 1 here. And I think that I'm going to block and probably shoot one of the Noble Hierarchs. I think that gives me the best chance to survive. And next turn, the Lotus Bloom is going to be coming out. So here I am chump blocking and shooting a Noble Hierarch. Alright, they saved the Hierarch. Now we cast the Lotus Bloom. Please, please don't counter this. They don't, sweet. All my lands enter the battlefield tapped, so I guess I'm just going to cast Primetime here. I doubt that they have a counterspell for this. They can't be running Disdainful Shrug, right? There's no way? No. Okay, cool. Sweet. We already have a Simic Growth. So I guess that what I want to do... What do I want to do? How do I lose here? I guess I can get Kalni as a chump blocker, and I can also get a Temple of Mystery. Or do I want to get a Boros? Maybe I also could get a Boros Garrison to... I kind of want to get Ghost Quarter. I think I'm getting Kalni. I'm very lucky that my opponent has no like unblockable dude or anything like that. That was actually really lucky for me. I think I'm gonna get a Temple of Mystery here. What this allows me to do is it allows me to even if my opponent forces a chump, that's fine. But what this allows me to do is allows me to transmute next turn, and we're gonna keep that on top. Pablo Palanca, yeah. We're amuleting. We're amuleting hard here. Okay. We're drawing a black pact next turn, so that means that my Primeval Titan will be getting a probably Golgari Rot Farm. Let's block over there. Good. Icor Clomere. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now we get the Slaughter Pact. Now we have options. Option number one is cast another Titan, which we cannot haste. But what we can do is we can go get what can we go get? We can probably go get Vesuva plus Bounce Land. Probably the black Bounce Land. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to like go wide, have a bunch of blockers, and actually, you know, start. My opponent has no unblockable threat, which is of course great for me. So I'm trying to, you know, prevent them from doing their thing. I could potentially go get a blue pact as well. So I'm going to get probably I could just get Gemstone Mine and Simic Growth Chamber. Just get Boros Garrison. And I can actually cast Steerings if I want to, but I think I'd rather have the Champ Blocker. And now this attack can go get some more blue sources and a Vesuva to copy the Colony Garden for some extra Champ Blockers. Vesuva and what do I get here? Sunhome, I think. Setting up for next turn. So next turn I do have the actual kill. Yeah, my opponent just concedes. Yeah, that was the other option. I could have like got an Engineer Explosives, but there's no need to show my opponent Engineer Explosives. I just think like I'm so far ahead. If my opponent had one of the Blighted Agents, then I would have gone for that, because I can actually die. But since I can, you know, I just think that my opponent has no trample effect, I don't think. Maybe they have Rancor, but it's still, you know, not probable. Do I want K return? Is the only question that I have. I just feel like all the individual removal spells are better. And explosives is probably better than K return anyway, because they can't like save their dudes from explosives. I don't think Rex Sage it's worth it. Nature's Claim. Now that they showed me Icor Clomere, Nature's Claim might be worth it because it kills both the Mirror and it also kills Inkmoth Nexus. So maybe the Claim is worth it, but just for the Mirror, I don't think the Rex Sage is worth it. It's just like maybe a one-off in my opponent's 60. I'm not going to sideboard for that. I don't think I like Hive Mind, honestly. Don't think I like Hive Mind, and this is basically like a Blue Pact is basically like a safety net. Maybe I don't want that either. Maybe Swan Song is better, or K return for that matter. Huh. I guess I'll submit like this. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe this is wrong. But yeah, this is, of course, I'm trying out this list. This is not usually the list that I play. My opponent mulled to 6 and I have a potentially really fast hand. Okay, I'll keep. Of course here I need prime time desperately. And there it is. Suspend this. Play this. So if we draw on Azusa, we're in a really good spot. If we do not draw on Azusa, my opponent might race me. The fact that they played Ink Moth on turn 1 is pretty great for me. So let's think here. I think what I want to be doing is I want to play the second Amulet. I can't really draw into anything unless I find exactly Walking Ballista. But exactly Walking Ballista does not seem like very promising. Because even if I find explosives, I would want to explosives on 2, and that's not what I can do. So I think what I'll do is I'll just play the second Amulet. And I will play Gemstone and Steerings. Hopefully we see a Ballista here. Oh, third Amulet, okay. Okay, so if we... Depending... If we're not dead, I think we might actually get there. That's 5. Do you have 2 Might of Volcrosa? No, you don't. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for some fireworks. Unfortunately, I cannot win. Damn, that sucks. I cannot win because the Boros Garrison is in my hand. So, can I haste 2 Titans? So if I play Amulet... If I play Amulet, and then I play Gruul Turf, then I can play my Primeval Titan, and I can go get... Gemstone Mine is the only card that actually works here. I could also leave the Gemstone Mine untapped. I think I can actually win here. Okay, let me think this through. So, I will tap this Stronghold to go get an Amulet. To play the Amulet, okay? So that will be 3 Amulets total. Sup, the Burden One, you're coming in a good spot right here. My Infect opponent just kept a really bad hand, and we are about to turn 3 them. I think I actually have the win. So I'm going to play the Amulet, okay, off the Slayer Stronghold. I'm going to have Gemstone Mine untapped. I play the Amulet. I play Gruul Turf. That will give me 6 mana because I will have 3 Amulet triggers. My Primetime trigger will go get a Tolaria West plus a Semi-Growth Chamber. That will net me 9 mana. I can go get another Primeval Titan. That Primeval Titan can go get Vesuva plus... It has to be Gemstone Mine, right? But that's the only way I can get hit. I can hit with both Titans. But we are very susceptible to the... fuck. We're gonna get hit by the Amulet, by the Amulet bug, I think. I think we're gonna get hit by the bug. So this should be a win. This should be a win, but I think that we're going to get hit by the Amulet bug. I'm pretty confident about that. Crap. I think we're gonna get hit by the Amulet bug. But we can still survive because we can still pay for the pact on my upkeep. So this doesn't matter. float all this. I think, yeah, we're totally gonna get hit by the Amulet bug. This fucking sucks. So the Amulet bug, for people who don't know about it, is that when you have multiple amulets in play, like we do right now, when you choose your lands, when you don't have a bounce land, I mean, meaning when you don't have like an extra trigger that is not an amulet trigger, it puts all the triggers on the stack in a random order, okay? So what's gonna happen right now is, it's because I cannot pick a bounce land here. I need to pick the gemstone mine because it's the only land that does what I want it to do. What's gonna happen is, I suspect that oh no, sweet, sick, okay, so we got lucky. What I suspected was that what was gonna happen is the Slayer Stronghold untap trigger will go on the stack first, and what that will do is it will make it so I cannot do this, okay, because the Stronghold will untap 3 times before I get the chance to do anything. Here we actually got lucky and things worked our way, and we get to attack with both Titans. So one Titan is going to get I can go get Gruul Turf plus Celestia Sanctuary, or I guess another Gemstone Mine. So I guess I'll get Celestia Sanctuary plus Gemstone Mine. So Sanctuary plus Gemstone Mine. The order here doesn't matter. 1, 2. Red. And I guess I'll bounce this. Second trigger, yes. And I go get Sun Home plus Ghost Squatter, I guess. One, 2. Sun Home, double strike this dude. Sun Home, double strike the other dude. That one. Sweet. All right. That was a pretty good start. And of course, we were kind of forced into doing that because I actually drew the Boros Garrison. If the Boros Garrison had not been in my hand, things would have been way easier, and I would have not needed to, think all of that through, because, I can just go get the Boros Garrison, and the Boros Garrison just by itself adds all the mana that I want. And I could have also triple tightened my opponent right there if I wanted to. If I had the Boros Garrison in play, right? That's what I mean. And I could have attacked with the 3 of them. But because we actually drew the Boros Garrison, never lucky. Okay. This is a keep. This is a keep. Playing against blue-white. I think I'm going to play Amulet here and suspend the bloom. Hive Mind is usually really good against blue-white. We'll see how things go. Drawing our second basic forest is really bad for us, though. Pretty bad. I don't think I want another Lotus Bloom. Man, I'm really interested in finding something like... I think I'm gonna get Aether Hub, just because I want a blue source. Tolera West would be a pretty good one. Never mind. So I guess we're gonna get another... Well, I guess I can get a Garou Turf here. Having extra bounce lands in case my opponent has Field of Ruins or something like that. We just bottom the pack though. That's of course not great for us. I guess Temple of Mystery would have been the single card that we were looking for there. Okay, so my opponent is quite likely to be on the Terminus list if they are running opts. My opponent does have the Field of Ruin. That's not a bad draw at all. Serum Visions, okay. Yeah, so this is good. What I want to do here is... so that was a Gemstone Mine. I think I want to bottom that anyway. I think what I want to do here is I want to start... I want to try to transmute this Tolaria West for a blue pact. Here I do not want to be playing into... I do not want to be playing into Cryptic Command, so I think I'm gonna play this and bounce the hub. My opponent will Field of Ruin me. Match 1 was against Infect, Scurtis. We got really lucky and we had a turn 3 kill with triple Amulet against my opponent getting stuck on lands. This is very interesting here. The fact that I'm short on blue sources and the fact that I drew both of my forests is actually so bad for me right now. Because I'm gonna get like behind the land. And I'm gonna fix my opponent's... I'm gonna allow my opponent to fix their mana. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna be playing the Tolaria West just because I do not want to be set behind the land. Basically, I need to draw a blue pact here. Yeah, and Punt only plays with 2 basic forests, so we have nothing to search for here. This is so bad. This is really, really bad for us. But at least we didn't get set back 2 land drops. Play another Amulet, try to see if I can bait some counter magic. My opponent doesn't buy it. Red is, I guess, the one I care the least about. Well, I guess this is not bad for me. So now I bounce my hub. Yeah, this list does not play Cavernous Souls. So the fact that this list doesn't play Cavernous Souls is gonna hurt us a little bit here. It's a little bit unfortunate. If my opponent slams the fairy and they minus on my Lotus Bloom, that's gonna be pretty bad for me. But I guess if they do, I get to resolve their prime time, so it's not that bad for me. Suspect my opponent's like thinking about that right now. Yeah, the fact that the fairy is an answer to hive mind is actually quite annoying. Because usually in the past, what would happen is you would just like wait as long as you could, and then you would play like hive mind with counter backup. And once you did, they just basically have no way to interact with it because everything that they could do, they just basically they had like it's not damping sphere, it's the other D sphere, detention sphere. Detention sphere. That's not a bad draw actually. Play the temple. Floated blue, because we can. Let's cry, hopefully a blue pack to the top. Hey yo! Snapcaster, that's fine. If my opponent had a Vendilion click here, that would have been way more troublesome. I take your prime time or your hive mind, and yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been really bad. Opponent place another colonnade. Okay, so what they do have then is Cryptic Command plus. I guess they could have Negate. Negate would be annoying. But here I think we are actually going for it. Here I think we're actually going for it. And I'm gonna go for Primeval Titan here. Okay. Pact your Cryptic. You have a negate too. We can pay for Mana Leak, we can pay for Logic Knot. Cool. And here I'm going to suspect that my opponent has at least one path in hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transmute. And do I have enough mana here? So this would be, I think I have enough mana. That would be 6. Yeah. So I'm going to... My opponent did not have the... My opponent did not have the... They did not have the freaking negate to counter my pact, so I assume that they don't have a negate for this. And these should transmute for a green pact. And unless my opponent is playing Squelch, Summoner's Pact, cast Summoner's Pact. Hive Mind copy Summoner's Pact, and this is what I was saying earlier. This is the combo right here. My opponent is forced to cast this Summoner's Pact. They will of course fail to find. They will try to like counter my pact, but with their counter spell so I have my copy and I will copy their thing, so this is still fine. Oh, never mind. They can counter paying 0 and choose not to pay. Oh, crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I just died. Oh, I guess I should have countered my own pact. Yeah, I should have countered my own pact and choose not to pay. Well, my opponent was smart there. Alright, that's good to know. Logic Knot was a beating there. What they did is they just Logic Knotted for 0. So then when Hive Mind will copy Logic Knot for 0. And yeah, I'm dead here. I'm gonna die on my upkeep because I have 2 packs to pay for. Okay. So I guess I die. This was still a very niche interaction. I don't think that's gonna be the case. But I definitely want to do some sideboarding here. Probably I want Bog just for value. Minus Serum Visions, minus Colony, and I guess minus Radiant Fountain. And I think I want Nature's Claim, right? Oh, Rex Sage. Rex Sage makes sense. That was, of course, the exceptionally niche scenario of Logic Knot, which I guess I should have played around. And I didn't think after the fact, like when it happened, I should have like countered my own pact. I think at that point we were dead anyway. But it would have still been correct to like counter my own pact and choose not to pay. Okay, I still think Highbind is gonna be really good against control, and we can probably take out. What can we take out? Like another Amulet? Nah, Serum Visions. That was very smart of my opponent, though. That was very smart of my opponent. They played well. Okay. This hand looks okay. I keep drawing my basics. It's just so bad to draw your basics against control. And again, on turn 1, I am choosing to play Ancient Students because the upside of finding a Lotus Bloom and be able to suspend it on turn 1 is just so high, right? Okay, so here I'm gonna play both Amulets, and if my opponent taps out, they are just dead. With counter backup. No second land drop? Ugh, opponent. They were really hoping that this Ancestral Vision got them there. Oh, they do have the second land drop, okay. Never mind. Never mind. Please step out here. Search for Ascanta would be nice. Nothing. Nothing. So I might get absolutely destroyed here, but I think it's worth to go for it. I think it's worth it. Prime time, cost prime time. Hopefully they try to like Logic Knot this. Yep, they Logic Knot this. Cool. So that means we win. We packed. Primeval Titan resolves. Yes. And now we'd better not misclick, because we're gonna die to our pact on upkeep. So. Boros Garrison plus Slayer's Stronghold. No bug. Cool. Yep. Yeah, Pact is okay. Pact is okay. I appreciate my opponent not making me go through it. So, do I want to take out something like the Crumbling Vestige and bring back the Serum Visions on the draw? I don't want to take out the Aether Hubs because Aether Hubs are an untapped blue source for Swan Song, so I think I'm actually going to take out the Crumbling Vestige here. Okay, let's go for game 3. Yeah, okay. Again, turn 1, going for the steerings. Jeez. Guess I'll take the other amulet. I am probably not going to play both though. Or, I mean, I guess I'm going to play the first one, and if my opponent can counter it if they want, and then I'm going to play the second one. But I'm not going to run them both out, because the Tension Sphere wrecks me. Yeah, so that's fine. And now I get to resolve the other one. I should have played the Stronghold there, that was my bad. The moment that we actually, you know, draw these lands, it's just, it's better for us just to play them out. Explosives, that's not bad. It's not gonna be useful yet, but it will be useful down the line. Blue source, pass the turn. Please no V-click. Sweet. So here's when playing bounce land starts being a little bit dangerous, because my opponent can like cryptic bounce my bounce land and then, you know, do whatever. We're definitely bottom in that. They can like bounce my bounce land and then set me back quite a bit. So here actually, you know, I want to try to not play this bounce land for as long as I can. So now my opponent has access to like Snap Negate, Cryptic. They have a bunch of things that they can be doing here. The Fairy, gonna plus or minus on the Amulet. They're gonna plus. Let's draw a Pact here. Please Pact, please Pact, please Blue Pact. What to do here? My opponent has counter magic like guaranteed. There's no way they don't have counter magic. I think I want to spend this turn transmuting Teleria West. Trying to do a Blue Pact. To help me push through my Titan. Push my Titan through. I guess. Blue Pact. Go. But now that them having Teferi it's huge for them. My opponent was correct tapping out there. They just needed to get a little bit lucky. And they got lucky. One, two, three, four, five, six. So I can use this chance to try to slam a prime time. But I get wrecked by so much if I do this. Going to steer here. Probably I find the second Teleria West, which would be pretty good. There it is. And that's why I paid off of this green mana, right? Because what I'm looking for is exactly Tolaria West. So having access to this actually allows me to transmute on this very turn. What do I do here? I think I transmute for another blue pact or a green pact? I think another blue pact. And I think I want to play this and bounce the hub so I can play it next turn. I have some extra blue sources. Now I imagine my opponent is going to start cryptic bouncing my bounce lands. Yep, cryptic bounce my bounce land. Called it. I think I'm going to discard the explosives here. Another oh, Damping Sphere. Okay. right after I discarded the explosive. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. And I can't really punish them here. That big sphere really was very good. Crap. How do I win now? How do I win now? I guess the way I win if my opponent getting like angsty. But my opponent has been playing so well though. I don't think that they're going to make stupid mistakes. Jace. Shit. I guess they feel like they are very far ahead right now. They just immediately Fate Seal. Immediately Fate Seal. Guess taking the value of your Snapcasters and Logic Nuts. Shit, this feels real bad. Can field me here. It's funny that at this point there's more value in fielding my my temples than fielding my bounce lands because of that Damping Sphere. I guess Rex Sage would be a pretty good draw. My opponent is discarding to hand size though. My opponent is discarding to hand size. Why would they? Okay, thanks. My opponent just fixed my mana right there. My opponent just fixed my mana. Okay, I need to be careful with this Damping Sphere. I have Primetime mana, but I can't protect it because of the stupid sphere. So I need to wait. Actually, I'm a little bit tempted to just play this Primetime into Counter Magic. So I'm able to resolve this Hive Mind. Because at this point, I don't think Primetime is... My opponent is discarding Paths. I don't think that Primetime is going to get me there. They kept 2 cards on top. Yep. I don't think prime time is gonna get me there because if my opponent is discarding path, I assume that they have 2 or 3 left in their hand still. So I'm probably going to slam this Primeval Titan and just into counter magic just to use my opponent's mana, I guess. And just so if they bounce something, I am not forced to go to discard. Slam it. Counter draw. Sure. I kind of need a second Summoner's Fact though. If my opponent has Logic Knot, they can play around the first Fact of Negation. The first ult is 8, right? Yeah. Okay, so we have one more turn. Primeval Titan. Disdainful Stroke. I have no other land drops, so I'm gonna play this. Shitty, but it is what it is. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands in play. Oh, they cannot cryptic because they don't have enough. Damping Sphere just got them. That's funny. Okay. So my opponent basically cast a Rampant Growth right there. That was cool. Alright, so this is the last turn, because next turn my opponent will ult a Fairy and then draw 3 with Jace, and that would be it. So this is going to be my last turn to do something. This is the turn I need to find a way to resolve this Hive Mind, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do. Blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Backed it. Pain 1. And even if I do this, I still don't win, right? Negate. Even if I did that, I still don't win because my opponent is going to like exile all my blue sources, and I will die to my pack trigger on my upkeep anyway. Yeah, so this game just didn't work out. Actually, losing that first game, it's possible that we were not winning anyway, honestly. In fact, I don't think we were winning that game anyway. But yeah, now my opponent will, if they ult a Fairy and they zero Jace, that's just a concession. Yep. Okay. GG's. They got me. They got me. I think that this deck's blue-white control matchup used to be really good before, but since the Fairy, it's not as easy anymore. I think the Fairy is just so good for blue-white. it just does everything that blue-white wants to be doing. It just puts pressure. It draws cards. It you know, it even generates mana, which is which is incredible. If my opponent had not held up, the fact that you can like you know, pay 5 to play Teferi and still have counter spell mana up is just absurd, right? If my opponent had like tapped out for Jace or something, they would have just lost that game, because I would have when they tapped out for Teferi, I would have just slammed the Titan, and you know, even if they path the Titan, it doesn't matter, because at that point I already got some advantage of it, you know, just because of the trigger. This hand is like ridiculously slow. I don't think I can keep this. This hand is also ridiculously slow, but I think I'll have to keep this. I don't think that going to 5 is gonna help me much. Again against blue-white? Damn. People are really digging their blue-white control decks. Don't tell me that. Oh, that's actually Storm. Never mind, we're dead. Alright, we tried. At this point I'm not conceding, because maybe my opponent will like show me something. You know, maybe they will show me whether they have... because they just naturally drew all basics. But I'm very interested in knowing whether, you know, maybe they will show me that they are playing fetchlands. Because if they are playing fetchlands, I think that the sideboarding is going to change a lot for us. But yeah, at this point it's just a deterministic kill. I think, right? I think this matchup is like kind of impossible to win game 1, and then game 2 things get much better for us. I been both rituals. Alright, kill me. In the meantime, I'm gonna check. The fetchless lists are the most popular ones, so I'm going to sideboard like it's a fetchless list. But of course, if my opponent happened to be playing Blood Moon, then of course we will want the Rex Sage post board. I think I'm dead. I'm not going to sit through this. You got it. My opponent is trying to figure out, but I'm dead. I trust them. I've seen that they are good Storm players. We bring this in and Tormod Script. Bojuka Bog 2. We side out 2 Hive Minds. Side out 2 Serum Visions. 1 Ancient Stirrings. Colony Garden and Radiant Fountain. I'm not sure I'm a fan of keeping both explosives, so we'll see. I guess the idea behind that might be that you can just, you know, burn 1 on the mana dorks, or that we are so desperate to have answers to their mana dorks that we're just willing to spend 4 mana on them. Because this is awful, this is really bad. Also, my opponent has one of the best possible cards against this deck, which is Remand. Remand your Lotus Bloom. Feels awful. Yep, I guess I'm keeping this hand, and I'm basically just hoping. So this is going to be like the exception to the rule that I was saying earlier. The fact that playing Amulet on turn 1 allows us to play Azusa on turn 2, means that it's probably gonna be the only circumstance in which I'm willing to play Amulet over Ancient Stirrings on turn 1. My opponent mulligan and kept the card on top. And Halus87, thanks for the follow. Okay, we're going in. If we find... I guess we need to find Tolaria west of these stirrings. We need to find Tolaria west of these ancient stirrings. Because of that, I am going to play around like a bolt or something from my opponent. Is that worth it though? Nah, I think I'm going to... What I'm trying to think here is what happens and what are the chances that my opponent has removal for this Azusa. And that being the case, I'm also trying to figure out if there's any way I can prime time this turn, which I'm not sure I can. I have an extra 9 mana, but I will need to use 1 to stirrings. Okay, so there's actually no way for me to actually transmute and cast the Titan this turn, so I'm going to hedge a little bit by playing this Gemstone Mine. And at this point I can also just play the Simic Growth, right? Yeah, at this point it's just like, it's whatever. We're still holding a bounce land in hand. And there's our Tolaria West. Sick. Transmute for our pact. And my opponent will need to have something very good, otherwise they die next turn. Maybe they have Shattering Spree or something like that. Because killing Azusa doesn't stop them from dying. And seeing this Shivan Reef is actually huge for us. This Shivan Reef right here basically confirms that my opponent is not on Blood Moon. So actually them showing me that Shivan Reef is massive for us. It's really, really good. Now I know for sure that I can... Wow, my opponent is... I guess that I conceded to my opponent, so they return the favor. Okay, cool. I'll go to the bathroom and I'll be right back. Arthur, how's it going? Cool. So then, now that we know for sure that my opponent is on a fetchless list, we can more confidently sideboard like this. Okay, we're gonna need another good draw here. So this draw is a little bit slower. I have Steerings on turn 1. I have a Transmute on turn 3. Okay, I'm gonna keep this hand. It might be one turn too slow. Might be one turn too slow. If my opponent has the turn 3 kill, then unless I find the Tormod script of this. Nope. I guess I'll get a Temple of Mystery here. Maybe I should have, like, I have the potential of drawing Slaughter Pact, so maybe I should have found the Black Source there. I need this member of the top right now. Nope. Alright, we're dead. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. I think the card was really good. This hand was really good because on turn 3 we would have been able to transmute for Tormod script and then basically stop my opponent from winning for a while. Another alternative would be to find blacks. Okay. Alright. So I guess I am going to... Okay, how far behind do I think I am? Because if I don't think I am that far behind, the way to not die next turn is for me to go find the Tormod script of transmuting this to Tulare West. If I think I am really far behind, what I can do is I can play Azusa. 1, 2, 3. I can play Azusa. And then I can try to find Tormod script off of these Ancient Steerings. How likely am I to be dead here? I think Barry, my opponent has 4 cards. They're probably missing like a single gifts or something. So maybe I do need to get lucky and I actually need to play Azusa and try to hope to hit Tormod script. At this point, Slaughter Pact or Dismember don't do it. It's 1 card in the top 5. How likely am I to get there? Because I do feel like I'm really far behind, honestly. And my opponent is tapped out of Remand. If my opponent remands my Azusa next turn, I'm going to be even further behind. Yeah, but I don't think I can afford to do it, though. I'm going to transmit for Tormod script. And this is the upside of Tormod script over Bojuka Bog, of course. This was my turn 3 and I really needed some way to interact at instant speed. If I have had Bojuka Bog, I could not been able to play it, first of all. And second of all, I care about the instant speed a lot, because, you know, just playing the Bojuka Bog would have done nothing. So that's why, you know, Pandan Wine has been... He's been swearing by Tormod script, and I think that he was correct all along. I think Tormod script is really, really good in this deck. Okay. That's not a bad draw at all. Play Azusa. Okay. So here I can stare into... I can stare and hold up Swan Song. I think that's probably the play. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. It would have been nice to find... Would have been nice to find something like a... like an explosives here. I know this looks bad, but I might be interested in chomping with this Azusa, so I want to guarantee that I have a Primeval Titan next turn, so I'm going to get a Stronghold here. My opponent can gifts here at end of turn. Wipe away. Alright. That one resolves. Ritual's fine. We're gonna counter the gifts here. If they have another gifts, they have another gifts. Here I have 6. Pieces of the puzzle. Okay, so we're not dead. Sleight of hand, Desperate Ritual, and Steam Vents. So they have Manamorphose and Remand in hand, but they used the Remand already. They used the Manamorphose already, I mean. Okay, I'm still potentially quite dead here. My opponent finds the gifts. I am actually literal dead. Oh, they can just like, oh, they just found the grave. Okay, so I am actually dead. Look at that. Look at that. They just wanted to deal me 1 extra damage by playing the Baral there. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna deal you 11. They're not even take the free attack. Yeah, we're dead now. All right, we're dead. All right. We were just a little bit too slow. Just a little bit too slow. Probably just a turn too slow, honestly. But that 1 turn was enough for them to kill me. Opponents, do you want to play with me? Yes, they do. Hell. Yuck. Okay, so we have a... Okay, so basically if there's a Lotus Bloom on top, I'll keep it. If there's anything that's not a Lotus Bloom on top, I'll bottom it, because I want to give myself the most amount of chances of finding a Lotus Bloom of these Ancient Steerings. I guess that's like second best. Faithless Looting. So what is it? The Dredge Vine deck? Is it... Woo! Looting Flooded. There it is. Okay, sequencing. I think the Gemstone Myconor is going to be very valuable. So I probably want to do this. And pass the turn. Usually Faithless Looting decks are pretty good for us, unless they are exactly Mardu Pyromancer. If they are exactly Mardu Pyromancer, it might be... Oh, it is exactly Mardu Pyromancer. Inquisition whiffed. That's hilarious. That's a good draw though. So... Let's think. How interested am I in transmuting this very turn? I think it's not necessary. My opponent could have further discard spells. So I probably want to play Tolaria West and pass the turn. Azusa would have been a nice draw there. I mean, Azusa would still be a nice draw. But yeah, Lotus Bloom is not great against the 3+ Kolaghan's Command deck. Interesting that Punt and Wine still does not... He does not side out Lotus Blooms. Like, ever, I don't think. Nope. There's the young Pyromancer. No Thoughtseize is good for us though. Okay, so here my opponent does not know about these two lands. So here I am actually going to transmute, I guess, for a green pact to set up my next Primeval Titan. I cannot transmute for a green pact and use it this turn, so it doesn't make much sense. Pass the turn. I guess I could have also transmuted for an Engineer Explosives and played on 2. That could have also been an interesting play right there. And if my opponent plays another one, another young Pyro, I mean, but yeah, I still don't know whether I want to, you know, be... This way I force my opponent to have 2 discard spells. Blood Moon here. Or are they going to... Kolaghan's Command, discard a card, destroy Amulet? Yep. Because my opponent again is a Blood Moon deck, I am going to be able to cast my Primetime next turn anyway, so I'd rather discard the Simic-Growth there and hold the Basic Forest in my hand. I already have Second Pact in hand. Bloom comes off suspend. Cast Lotus Bloom. Would be nice to draw a Hive Mind so I can just like win the game. No game winning, so I'll just slam a Titan. I cannot haste the Titan this turn. It's interesting to know that this deck actually has Crumbling Vestige. So if this had been Stronghold instead of Sunhome, I actually would have been able to haste the Titan here. But because it was this, then I'm not able to. And I'm not gonna play around Liliana. I think it's better for me to go get this. Maybe forest. Maybe I'm interested in actually getting both forests here. My opponent, in case my opponent, yeah, forest Tolaria. My second main, I'm gonna Serum Visions. I mean, post Titan triggers. That's still my first main phase, but still, you get the idea. I don't think I want either of this. Don't think I want either. Maybe I do want the Pact to protect myself. It's Mike 2013. They are very different lists, which play out very differently to each other. They try to go for different things, and they do so in different ways. The easiest way to explain it is this list is more consistent and it's more combo centric, while the other list is more flexible and the play patterns are a little bit more, dynamic. This deck's play patterns are still really complex, but they are more straightforward in general. I am not going to get this Pact of Negation. If I could have it this turn, I would get it, but the fact that it's coming no earlier than next turn is just not enticing to me. Okay. Going to Stirrings because it's free basically. But yes, I am trying this out, but usually I tend to favor the Scout list. That is the one that I have the most experience with. I am much more familiar with the play patterns, and I just like it better overall. I guess I'm taking the Girl Turf because I will value being able to get my Tolaria West back on the next turn. And I still don't have. I still am missing one, either red or white, for this for the Sunhome or the Stronghold that we just saw, right? So that's why I'm getting the Rule Turf. Could explosives on 1. I could also explosives on 0. But in any case, it's cool that I get to whiff my opponent's Inquisitions. If they have Thoughtseize, of course they got me, But I can at least whiff my opponent's Inquisitions by casting a Titan, and even if my opponent has Blood Moon, I can still pay for my Pact. That's the reason that I actually went for the second basic when I played my prime time. Okay. My opponent terminates from Evil Titan, gets a couple of tokens. That's fine. Man, Bojuki Bog would be really good here. Bojuki Bog would actually be really, really good. But there's no Bojuki Bog in the main deck. It's only in the sideboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, I guess I'm getting. What am I getting? I guess Radiant Fountain, Colony Garden. Probably Radiant Fountain and Temple of Mystery. And I can play the Turf as my land for turn. Yep, we're gonna keep that one on top. Hi Musta, how's it going? How is it going? We're playing some Bloom Titan. Playing some Bloom Titan. Inquisition is a whiff. So next turn I will pay for Pact 1, 2, 3, 4. Be able to transmute and crack the explosives on 0, which seems like a pretty good deal. My opponent got the Reveler though. Hopefully they don't draw the Dreadbore, because that would be annoying. The good thing is I get to double strike my Primeval Titan if he doesn't die. So that's definitely a plus. I get to wipe my opponent's elementals and swing him for a bunch. Is that correct? 4 to pay for Pact. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 to transmute. Oh no, I don't have enough. If I double strike, I don't get to also double strike. It's either double strike or wow, they're just throwing a PC under the bus. That's good for me. I'll take it. I'm definitely taking it. How do I want to pay? Probably with this and this too. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. So I know I'm drawing a Pact, which is cool. Because this gives me the option. So if I attack, let's think. If I attack, my opponent blocks with the Reveler and they like bolt me or something like that, which would give, it would trigger prowess on the Reveler and it would get them another token. But the Reveler would still die. The Reveler would still die and I can still swipe my opponent's board, so it's better to just force the issue. Alternatively, I can transmute main phase, go get the explosives, play explosives on 0 and then attack. With the attack trigger I can go get Vesuva, copy Fountain and like a bounce land or whatever. And I think I like that better. Going to transmute. And I still get to hold the Pact in hand for next turn. Yeah, the deck is sweet, Musta. You should, if you enjoy this kind of like, it's super complex. There's a lot of lines, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it always feels like there's a possible out, which is something that I also quite enjoy. So I play explosives on 0 and leave myself the option to crack it. I don't need to do it, but I can. And this way I basically guarantee that my opponent is not going to be blocking this prime time. The only way that they would do it is if they block with the Reveler and bolt the Titan itself, which would actually, kill the Titan. And now with the attack trigger, I can get Vesuva, copying the Radiant Fountain, and a bounce land to bounce the Radiant Fountain itself, so I can also do it again and gain 4 life. So Boros Garrison and Vesuva. Vesuva, copying Radiant Fountain. Bounce Radiant Fountain. Swing for 6. Do you take it? Opponent double chumps. Sure. They take 4. The good thing about this is that even if my opponent has Bolt, it doesn't do anything, right? So that's of course great for me. And now I pass, holding up Explosives mana. I could pact for Azusa, you know, play Azusa and play Bounce Land plus Radiant Fountain. But if my opponent has a Bolt, now it's actually a live draw. And I don't want that happening because there's really no need for me to allow that. The good thing here is my opponent is kind of forced to do something, because otherwise I can just take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can just take 9. Although I guess I die to Bolt plus... I die to Bolt plus Call Against Command. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'm going to pop the Explosives. I'm resolving another Titan next turn. So there's no need for me to, you know, put myself dead to like Bolt plus something. Yeah, this way they get a couple of tokens, but it's not such a big deal really. Or they do nothing? They go to looting? I think even if they deal with this prime time, I can, unless they have Blood Moon. If they have Blood Moon, of course, that's you know, this doesn't make sense. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. 1, 2 plus Stronghold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I have exactly enough Titans. I have exactly enough mana to, even if they kill this Primeval Titan, next turn play this Prime Time and haste him and double strike him for lethal as well. Yeah, my opponent's dead. My opponent is dead. Primeval Titan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So here I'm gonna get Bounce Land plus Slayer Stronghold. Bounce Land plus Stronghold, and this is a very common trick. With the ETB trigger, you get Bounce Land plus Stronghold. You bounce the Stronghold and you play it as your land for turn. What this allows you to do is, even though we don't have Amulet in play, I'm still able to haste my Primeval Titan and now have exactly enough mana to send home either one of them. But I'm in a position where I don't need to do it until my opponent does whatever it is that they're gonna do. So even if they have double Bolt, I'm still fine. Trigger. Yeah, my opponent concedes. Cool. So, thoughts on budget EE? Yeah, I know it's Mike. I know that they are pricey, but honestly, there's no replacement for the thing that usually that you know, the point behind explosives is that you can actually you know, transmute for them. That's like the biggest deal about it. So the fact that Ratchet Bomb is, even though the effect, it's the closest it's closely achieved by Ratchet Bomb, I still think that it's the card that would replace explosives would be Slaughter Pact. This would be like the budget replacement. It's still much worse, and it does very different things. But this would be like the replacement for explosives in the main deck. Okay, so against Mardu, we have -1 visions, -1 pact of negation, -1 colony garden. Interesting. -1 high, -1 explosives. This can't be right. Yeah, Punt. This can't be. Why would you want to side out explosives against Mardu? Explosives is insane against Mardu. Swan Song, I understand. Getting to blank. Blood Moon. And I definitely understand Coastal Return. I understand this stuff, but like, why would you want to take out engineer explosives? Seems like it's so good. I kind of want to side out Pact too. Oh, Bog is really good. Yeah, so the list that I have is from before Pandan 1 was actually playing Bojuka Bogs. So, guess we're starting out Crumbling Vestige. Bailoff? No Bailoff. Okay. That's interesting. I actually like Bailoff quite a bit. I'm going to like go off the grid here a little bit. I'm gonna do something like this. Yeah, probably. The thing is, Ballista does a different thing, right? The thing about explosives is you can explosives away Rune Halos, search for Ascantas. You can explosives away like a bunch of tokens at the same time. So it is quite a different card, to be honest. This is low hand, but I'm going to keep. No discard spell is good. That's a good draw too. Getting some value from our land drop. So in my Amulet Scout list, I do run both Ballista and Explosives as 1 and 1 in the main deck, and I think that is definitely the way to go, because they do very different things in very different contexts. Azusa is actually an okay draw here. Although I would expect that my opponent will have Blood Moon on turn 3, because they are starting with a super slow hand, and super slow hands usually mean Blood Moon on turn 3. Play Aether Hub, pass the turn. Yeah, it can, but sweeping tokens for 2 mana and sweeping token for like over 4 or 5, it's big difference. Maybe I should have played my explosives on 2 on that turn. Well, but now I put my opponent in a predicament because I didn't do it. It's like, what do they take? Do they take the Azusa and prevent me from ramping? Do they take the explosives and prevent their stuff from dying? Or do they take my pact? This is one of the ways that sometimes Mardu Pyromancer gets out of hand though. Double Young PC, it's actually quite a big deal. It's pretty rough to catch up to. I honestly don't even know what I want them to take here. I probably want them to take the explosives, I think. They took the Azusa, okay. So they might have another thing. Lol. That was hilarious. Okay. And here, this is a very interesting sequencing thing. I'm going to bounce this, even though I can get value from my Temple of Mystery, right, on my next turn. But the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to have an ETB untap land in my hand, so next turn I can make it up to exactly 6 mana, and I have a guaranteed prime time. Unless they have Blood Moon, of course. If they have Blood Moon, you know, this is... Actually, the game is pretty over if they have Blood Moon here. They have like a super wide board. And the Blood Moon, I don't think I can beat that. Don't think I can beat that. But the fact that we're making their call against command really bad with this Bailoth, it's actually pretty good. They do have the moon. Okay. Bolt me. Okay. Dreadboard Yasusa. That's aggro. That is aggro. Jeez. Okay. So I think the way to not die here... The way to not die here, I think, is gonna be to delay my prime time for a turn. Because I am pretty forced into doing this. Yep. Roll it up. So now my opponent can like reload. They do have the Blood Moon now. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. That sucks. So we're really dead here. I don't think I'm racing, because I'm definitely losing the race. So I think what I'm doing is I just need to get lucky and draw a forest in like my next draw step or the following one. Need to draw exactly one of my 2 basic forests, because at this point I think Lotus Bloom is just way too slow, and I'm just going to die before I get to that point. Molten Rain, that does nothing. That's fine. Forest? Nope. Can we stall enough? Can we stall enough here? This is the issue about Mardu Pyromancer. The fact that they play multiple Blood Moons is like the only thing that turns the matchup into not really good for us. But basically, when they do not draw the Blood Moons, we are extremely likely to win. But if they do, then this happens. And I'm starting to suspect that I kind of want the Lotus Bloom back. I kind of want the Lotus Bloom back. They have lethal next turn. Basic forest. I guess explosives would have also been pretty good there. Oh, K return would have been insane. K return would have been outstanding. And at this point we are dead on board. Yep, we're dead on board. My opponent wants to go off. We'll let them have fun. Value block. The value block. Alright, game 3. Honestly, it makes me think that I might want to have a K return here. Just Swan Song looks so narrow. It's only good if like they slam Blood Moon when I'm holding up blue mana. Maybe Baloth is not as good. Walking Ballista is also a threat that can be played under Blood Moon, but I'm not sure that I'm excited about that. Yeah. That's exactly. There must be some delay because that's exactly what I said. But the problem with Ballista is that it dies to Kolaghan's command or like Wear Tear, which is of course really bad for us. Maybe I do want one explosive. No, because I naturally want to draw the explosives. Let's do this. I'm still not convinced about the Swan Songs, honestly. I'm not convinced at all about the Swan Song. It just looks so narrow. I like this hand. We got an Answer to Moon, we got stuff to do, we got an Azusa, we got a Lotus Bloom. We have a lot of things that I like here. Inquisition? Thoughtseize, okay. No, I honestly understand like the reason for wanting to run Swan Song instead of so here the other way. No, I cannot transmute on turn 3. This kind of sucks. I don't want to get owned by Molten Rain though. I guess I will play Tularia West here and pass. The reason for Swan Song is because in this deck we are not trying to. In this deck we want hard counters, okay? We don't want spell pierces and stuff like that. And that is like the difference between this deck versus the Scout version. The Scout version is a little bit faster and you can actually play a somewhat tempo-y game with it. This one is a combo version, okay? We want hard counter spells and we want, we want Swan Song to counter a spell 100% of the time. And same thing with, spell pierce counters Karns and stuff, but we don't really care about countering Karns and stuff. We just want to counter the real deals spells. Blood Moon, counter spells countering our Primeval Titans or our Hive Minds, stuff like that. Okay, Rex Sage down. Looting. Bojuka Bug would be interesting. At least my opponent cannot. Oh, I guess Manamorphose is the only way that they can cast a Reveler. That's not bad at all. Would you look at that? So we did find our Primeval Titan. So at least now if my opponent plays a Blood Moon, I can play a Primeval Titan and hope that they don't have exactly Molten Rain on the next turn. because they will need to have exactly Molten Rain. If my opponent Inquisitions me, I will of course Pact in response. Huh, that's interesting. Did they keep in Lingering Souls? Blood Moon? No, Molten Rain. Cool. So we can steal prime time here. The issue now is that we will die. We can still Primeval Titan here, but we will actually die to Blood Moon here, which is of course not where we want to be. That was an amazing draw, right? So now I can actually survive. So I play Sanctuary, bounce. Yep. So I can do play Sanctuary, bounce Sanctuary, play Azusa, play Forest, play Sanctuary, and I guess I bounce the T-West, cast Pact, prime time, add some green manas, play Primeval Titan, Boros Garrison plus Slayer Stronghold, Boros Garrison plus Slayer's Stronghold. And here I'm kind of tempted to bog them plus basic forest. Actually, I think I'm going to bog them by plus Vesuva. My opponent conceded. I was going to bog them plus Vesuva to keep yet one extra basic forest in my deck if my opponent has like exactly Molten Rain or whatever. But if my opponent Molten Rains me next turn, that means they cannot Blood Moon me. So if they Blood Moon me, I just pay with both the basic forest. If they Molten Rain me, I just pay with this and basic forest. So they cannot like deal with everything on my next turn. Sweet. Okay, so we beat Mardu Pyromancer. Now we're 2-2. Let's see if we can salvage. If we can salvage a 3-2. Today I think this is gonna be my last match because I need to leave in a little bit because I have a student at 1 p.m. So I won't be able to play anymore. But I will probably be back tomorrow, have like another short-ish stream, and kind of get some extra value there that way. I'll keep this hand. We're looking for a Primeval Titan. We're looking for... What are we looking for? Probably like... maybe extra amulets or whatever. Mostly Primeval Titan. I could use some extra lands. But mostly Prime Time is what I'm looking for here. Crumbling Vestige, not so much. Of all the lands, that's not the one that I would keep on top. I have no place, so I'll pass the turn. That's a good draw. And here, I would imagine my opponent is on Hollow One or something like that. So I will actually do Amulet into Teleria and Serum Visions. I wanna, kind of like save my Amulet, and I want to save my. This is, of course, this is always a prime time in disguise. Hive Mind, it's bad. Hive Mind is not a good draw. Probably Rot Farm is okay though. Any bounce land here would actually be pretty nice. Always face. Is my opponent on burn? Because if my opponent is on burn, that's like a great burn. I hadn't noticed my opponent's name. That's so good. That's so good. My opponent is playing a Loam deck, which is amazing for us. First of all, we have actually we don't really care that much about Ghost Quarter, and that the fact that my opponent is playing Loam, it basically guarantees that they are not playing Blood Moon, so that's awesome. I would put my opponent on Dredge so far. Give me a second, I really need to go to the bathroom, but I'll think this turn through and I will explain my thoughts. Okay, here is a sequencing thing. I am going to lead on steerings because if I lead on steerings, if I find an amulet, I think it's actually the kill. Yeah, if I find an amulet, it's actually the kill because of the Azusa. And if I don't find an amulet, I still get to play a bounce land, and I still get to play the Azusa even if I whiff. So I think leading on steerings here gives me the most upside. And there's an amulet, so yeah, this is actually the kill. So, play Amulet. Play Semi-Growth Chamber. Bounce Semi-Growth Chamber. Play Azusa. I think I actually want to play the Rot Farm this time around. Boom. Boom. Float mana. I guess I'll bounce Teleria West. And oh, this is actually way easier. This is actually way easier. We can just do it this way. We can actually have the Hive Mind kill. Right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So no, we don't have the blue mana, so never mind. Transmute for Green Pact, I guess. We can actually double prime time my opponent, but just doing it with a single Primeval turn is just gonna be faster. I could have my fun, but I don't want to, show off to my opponent. Okay, so we were hit by the Modo Bug. That's unfortunate. It will. I mean, we're still fine, but it's always annoying when you get hit by the Modo Bug. Haste. Haste. Combat. Attack. Yeah. The casual turn 3. No big deal. No big deal. Vesuva, Sunhome. Here it actually does not matter, because we get exactly the same mana with this. Basically the difference is whether you end up with the Sunhome untapped or not, but it's just not a relevant thing. 20, yeah. Sick. Okay, we want Bog, we want Tormod Script, we do not want explosives. If this is Dredge, we don't want Slaughter Pact. I don't think Pont has a list for Dredge, a cyborg guide for Dredge. Yeah. This is, I think, the deck's best matchup though. So I'm not, you know, really worried about this matchup in particular. Bog seems actually really good. I think Bog might be better than Basic Forest. They can actually probably take out both basics, right? I doubt that my opponent is playing some kind of like crazy. Oh, I cited out the explosives. Probably Cosmic Return is playable against Dredge. Maybe? It's usually, so the deck runs 28 lands main deck, and it's usually okay to go down to 27 or even 26 in matchups that go really long, like for example blue-white control. You can actually go down to 26. Yeah, this looks good. I'll do this. If my opponent has, you know, like a Ghost Quarter package or something like that with that loam, I will consider bringing back the basic forests. But that's usually not the case. And okay. Keep this hand. We have Primetime, we have Azusa, and we have Amulet, and we even have like graveyard interaction. So we basically have it all here. We basically have it all. Ugh, that's a gross Dredge for my opponent. I think I want to play around Cathartic Reunion by playing out the Tormod script here. And I can also play the Amulet, because playing Amulet right now gives me the out next turn. If I happen to do a bounce land next turn, I can actually play the Azusa and set up for turn 3 Primetime. So I think it's worth it to run the Amulet out. Yeah, my opponent's not having a good time over there. We are currently 2-2 overrated. We're currently 2-2, and we are playing against Dredge right now. So here, this is interesting. The card that I'm looking for right now, it's basically any single bounce land. So I am actually going to play Slayer Stronghold instead of Tolere West. The reason for this is that this deck has way more ETB and tap blue sources. So I can, if I draw either a Temple of Mystery or I draw another Aether Hub or a Gemstone Mine, I am even Crumbling Vestige would work here. I can actually transmute on my next turn. You're not playing Bloodmoon, right? No. Oh, dude. Wow, my opponent has like the worst Dredge hand ever. That's so sad. Holy crap. Wow, this is really unfortunate. So I wait here, because if I actually cast the Azusa, I would need to use my blue source here, and as I was just saying, I really need to transmute this. So I want to leave myself the out, so any bounce land basically gives me transmute mana. My opponent has a loam in hand. They grudge the crypt. Okay. Wow, they were not... They were just holding the grudge all of these turns. Why didn't they grudge me like on turn 2? Or even 3? Now flashback, kill the amulet. Yeah, that's fine. Again, I'm still looking for the same thing. Still looking for an amulet. For a bounce land. And I know my opponent has a loam and nothing else. There's the loam. Crap. Okay. So now that I have like a green source that I can use multiple times, I am actually going to play the Essus. Opponent loams. Dredge's loam, I mean. And now they can finally get going. They can like flashback, looting, and dredge imp. I guess they can play loam first. That would be better. But yeah, so we're 2-2. We won against... So now they have Gorge, Mire times 2. Okay. So we beat... Infect and Mardu Pyromancer, and we lost against Blue-White Control and Storm. Cathartic Reunion. Okay. Double Imp and Thug. Well, I guess they're gonna get 2 Amalgams and a Ghast. Bounce land, please. Bounce land, please. Well. They drew a conflag. That's not good for me. Dredge loam. I'm not going to block here. But yeah, now my opponent has enough pressure that I don't think I can win anymore. It's so annoying to keep track. Oh, okay. So that's really good to know. That's what I was saying earlier. That is actually really good to know. Yeah. Yep. We're dead. But okay, so the fact that they actually do have Rose Quarter, which is not really common in Dredge lists, makes me want to, you know, of course, have a couple of basics back in. So what I can take out then is gonna be Vestige and gonna take out. Feel like I want my colony, I want my fountain. Maybe I can take out a temple. I can probably take out a K return. I'm not really, you know, convinced about this. It basically only kills Narcomoebas and Bloodghasts, but it doesn't really kill Price Amalgams, which are like the big dudes that I really care about. Okay. Let's draw an actual hand this time around. This might be just a little bit too slow. Okay, this I can do. This I can do. My opponent having multiple grudges, it's really bad for my Lotus Blooms, but it is what it is. Yes, we're keeping that one on top. We're missing out on some scry value, but yes, we're definitely keeping this one on top. Yeah, when your land drops basically stop your opponent's engine, it just feels dirty. It just feels dirty. So I am going to Serum Visions. We drew another temple, that's good. So we can actually transmute this Teleria West. That looks like something that we might be interested in. So I guess this Teleria West is like a proxy. It's a proxy for a bounce land, which is what we're looking for here. Next turn we play Temple of Mystery again. Opponent keeps looting. Opponent keeps looting. Okay, so there's a Thug. That's the engine, which is online now. So let's play the Temple. And I like that. Yep. Okay. This is by far the worst bounce land, but it's still gonna be good enough. Next turn I can bog my opponent again and basically force them to leave up interaction, because otherwise they just get prime timed. So they cannot really like develop their game plan because they need to be stopping me from killing them. I would assume that my opponent will... Oh yeah, my opponent's dead. Okay, this is good. Yeah, my opponent can have like a bunch of Narcomoebas. My opponent can have like... So they have a Loam in hand. They have a Loam. Yeah, so this game is over. This game is very over. So my options are I can hardcast Primetime and just do that. I can actually just cast Primetime here. Go get Vesuva, copy the Bojukebog. I think I'm more interested in like bogging my opponent to stop their engine than actually killing them this turn, and I cannot kill them this turn because I can only deal them 16. If I go fetch an Asusa, I can basically play a Primetime without cracking my Lotus Bloom, which will give me... No, it won't actually, because I don't have enough green mana, so I would still need something. Okay, so we're not gonna complicate ourselves as much. We're just gonna do this. We're gonna finish the game. Stronghold, and I guess Vesuva. Vesuva, copy Wajuka Bog, your graveyard. This also deals with a Grudge and a Faithless Looting over there, which is nice. Play Boros Garrison. Haste this bro up. This also makes it so I can finish the turn with a bounce land in my hand, which always is good whenever you have an Amulet in play, because Vesuva can copy any of the bounce lands now. So that's cool. We're gonna swing for 8. And I'm gonna get like Teleria plus Simic Growth, I guess. And what I'm gonna bounce is the Bojuka Box so I can protect it from Ghost Quarter. If I want to go for the overkill, I can even like second main transmute for a Tormod script, which feels like it's fun. Yeah, let's do that. Just so my opponents know that there's no way they are coming back from this. I mean, do I even want to? I think I'm just gonna get it blue packed. Fuck it. Sweet. Your turn, opponent. Like, there's absolutely nothing that my opponent can do right now. They can go squatter my stronghold, I don't care. They can... what can they do? They can even like conflag my prime time and I don't care. By discarding their whole hand, but that will definitely not work out for them. In fact, if my opponent just like... oh, they can't even, because they need to like actually go down one card in order to do that. So yeah, my opponent is just dead and they have 0 outs in their deck. But yeah, so Dredge is, like I was saying, it's probably like the deck's single best matchup, so it makes it doesn't surprise me that we just completely run them over. Sure, dude. choose your whatever you want. You can take whatever you want. In fact, do you want to take both? Just take them both. It's fine. Take them both. I insist. Yep. 3-2. Not the most outstanding of records, but it was still fun. It showcased kind of like the strengths of the deck. It also showcased the failures, I guess. I'm still a little bit iffy on the sideboarding. The person that plays this deck religiously, who is a MTGO user by the name of Pond and Wine, Nicolas Bruno is his name. He's really good with this deck, and he knows the ins and outs of the whole thing. You can probably find him here. He definitely has more trophies than I do. But yeah, my inexperience with this kind of deck was really showing, especially. Oh, he actually has only 3 trophies. It was last season he had like 8 or 9 or something stupid. But yeah, my inexperience with like my against blue white, I was so confident that Hive Mind was gonna be game over that I played a little bit too loose, and I ended up losing a game that I could have probably won. I still don't think that game we were favorites to win anyway, because my opponent had like multiple paths to exile in hand, and they had made every single one of their land drops. We had already drawn our basics, so you know, my opponent had like basically strip mines with upside in the form of Field of Ruins. But still, my inexperience really showed, and you know, which is unfortunate, but we still managed to get a 3-2. So the deck is very clearly strong. The play patterns and the decisions that you need to make are a little bit different than the scout lists, because of things like I was explaining earlier. For example, you more often than not want to spend your first turn casting Ancient Stirrings, because the upside of you hitting a Lotus Bloom off of it is just so high that you probably want to spend your first turn playing Stirrings over Serum Visions, over Amulet. But we also played one match where we found the exception, right? Where it actually felt like playing Amulet was going to be, you know, basically better EV and would allow me to have a faster hand, because I already had a bounce land and an Azusa in hand. So that could basically allow me to play in Asusa on my second turn, and then get ahead on mana that way instead of with Lotus Bloom. But yeah, the deck is definitely very interesting, and it's of course a lot of fun too. But yeah, I honestly don't know whether I like this one better than the scouts list. It seems to me like they are both quite similar in power level, honestly. Um, but all the sideboard choices are different. Like the sideboard looks actually quite different than the scout lists, but the explanation that Punt gives for all of his sideboard explanations, they always make sense. So nothing that you guys see here is actually random. It's not that he could not find spell pierces. No, he actually wants Swan Song for a reason. He actually wants Dismember instead of a Braid. Although I don't think I agree with this. I would probably run a Braids, especially when he has so many like non-bounce land red sources. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for me today. Thanks to all 13 of you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. If you have not done so yet, please make sure you hit that follow button. That way you can hear whenever I go live, which will be again tomorrow around the same time, probably around 10 a.m. probably a little bit earlier. And yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow. We probably might be doing some Legacy. I had a lot of fun streaming Legacy yesterday, so I might do that a little bit tomorrow as well. Probably just a single league though, because I will also need to leave a little bit earlier. But yep, so hope we'll see you guys then, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Have a good one.